Hello, anyone, everyone, and no one. My name is SlackLizard, and welcome to the first episode of Farm of the Week. Now, what is Farm of the Week? Farm of the Week is going to be a weekly series that we put out here on the channel, which is going to showcase and feature a build for a different type of farm. See, like many people in Minecraft, I've been playing Minecraft for a while now, and I have this, what would you call it, a crutch per se. I typically go back and build the same farm the same way, world after world after world after world. And here recently, that's just gotten a little bit old for me. And sitting and talking to a few friends, we've come up with the concept that, we don't have to build the same farm the same way every time. We can change it up. And that's what this series is going to be about here. We're going to go in and look at some of the most basic and or complicated farms out there and see if we can come up with different ways to build them. Now, you yourself as a viewer can contribute to this series. If you have an idea for a farm or a build that you would like to see, let us know down in the comments. And additionally, we would like to have your feedback on each farm that we build. What did you like about it? What did you dislike about it? There are things that we may miss. It's always interesting to see other people's point of view on farms and builds, because it may be called a farm of the week, but there's other game mechanics that can be useful too. I mean, how many ways can you build a smelter, right? How many ways can you build a potion brewer? That's what this series is going to be about, is figuring out those things. That being said, let's jump into today's Farm of the Week. This week's Farm of the Week is going to be based on a sugarcane farm, and it's going to be a bit of a different one, as you can see here. It's going to be based off of a Flying Machine Sugarcane Farm. And just like everyone else, I've pretty much built a wall of sugarcane and pistons before. I found this farm to be quite unique in its build. It is a little bit more complicated with water placement and slab placement, but at the end of the day, I thought this turned out really good, and I quite enjoyed it and would like to know what you all think as well. That being said, let's get the materials list and let's jump into this tutorial. As with every other tutorial that we pretty much do here on the channel, we like to keep things chunk aligned. It just makes things easier, and especially with this farm, with the collection system where we're going to be starting, you want to chunk align that. That's because Minecraft and Bedrock Edition and entities crossing chunk borders just do not get along. The game sometimes eats them, so let's make sure that we chunk align all of our farms here. Now, of course, I am going to be starting on the corner of a chunk here. I am using a resource pack made by the Mad Hatter, where when you hold a rocket in your offhand, it shows chunk borders. I even have a tutorial on my channel how to access and see chunk borders without a pack. That being said, we're going to go ahead and start things off here, and we're going to fill in our first chunk here. So starting at this corner here, we're going to fill in a 16 by 16 grid, including the block that we are standing on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And just to jump over to our pack here, you can see we're at the corner of a chunk. Now we're going to go over an additional 16 that way, including the block that we are standing on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Now, of course, now that we have two sides of this thing out, we can simply just fill in the rest of this really quick. Now, once you've gotten your chunk filled out here, it's time to go ahead and put in our collection system, our rails, and our minecarts, and that's going to be relatively simple. I would advise you building this farm going in the negative in the Z. At the top left up there, you got your coordinates in the Z, X, Y, Z. Z being the last one there. That way your rails are going to snap appropriately, and it will, honestly, I'll just say this, it'll save you a lot of headache. So for our collection system here, I'm not going to do no fancy unloader or anything like that. We're just going to simply have minecarts running all the time on here to collect things. So we're going to go in 8 blocks from the corner here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We're going to go ahead and punch out both of those blocks there. We're going to place in a temporary block back here so that we can place in a double chest right there. That's going to be our collection system. We're going to put a minecart, or not a minecart, but a hopper going into that one and into that one. Additionally, from this side, we're going to punch out an additional 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks on this side, and we're going to place 4 hoppers going into that one. So we got 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to go ahead and place in our hoppers that way. 1, 2, 3, and 4. As you can see, the hoppers are all going into the central ones, which all go into the chest. So once we get our rail system in place up here, anything that gets collected up by our minecart hoppers will end up in here in due time. From here, we're going to go ahead and put in our powered rails. So we're going to go over one space from the edge here. We're going to place a powered rail in there, and we're going to place in a powered rail in there. From here, we're going to go out an additional 3 blocks. So you got 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to place a row of powered rails all the way through here. We're going to go all the way over here to the other end, and we're going to go out an additional 3 blocks, 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to place in a row of powered rails all the way through here. Now, some people would say that this is overkill, but I've also played on a lot of servers where there's been a lot of people who like to build laggy farms, namely me included. So I would advise the extra row of rails. And then on top of that, you're dealing with a flying machine that is going to knock off a bunch of entities. Last thing you want is for your minecart to stop down here, and then you have to get underneath of this thing and try to repair it. That's going to be a nightmare for you. So I would advise putting in the extra rails. Now, additionally, from here, you can go ahead and come underneath of these and power these up with levers, and or you could place these rails on redstone blocks. It comes down to whichever way that you would like to do this. Redstone levers is going to save you a little bit more on the resources. It's just going to take a little bit more time. You're going to have to scaffold up and get all this situated out, but it will work at the end of the day. As you can see, we now have all of these powered, and we will do the same thing under all of these. So at this point, now that we have all of our powered rails in and powered, it's time to start adding in our normal rails. So we're going to be starting on this first hopper above the chest here, and we're going to place rails going all the way across here, connecting up to this one, and we're going to walk this all the way up onto the side here, like so. From here, we're going to continue to walk all of these back until we end up back in the middle. So as we come down here, we loop around, everything lines up, and it just saves a lot of time. Also, additionally, I might add that rails are a bit finicky in Bedrock, and I really advise, if you're building this the way that we've said here, that you start at the furthermost end over here placing in your rails, or else your rails are not going to snap and you're going to be confused and you're going to stop recording and you're going to be like, what did I just do wrong? And then you're going to remember, oh yeah, I'm playing Bedrock Edition. Not that that's what you did wrong, but you get what I'm saying. And once we get over here, that all snaps up together and that side is now in place. So from here, we're going to continue, and then we're going to do pretty much the same thing, with the exception that we're not going to be going across here first. We're going to start here, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go ahead and lock all of these in like so. Of course, when we get around here to the very front, we're going to stop 1 block shy, and we're going to turn the rail that way, because we need to run this one all the way back over here to connect up to this one when it's all said and done. So continue to walk this around until you get it reconnected to the front. You may or may not have seen, that powered rail there was a little bit finicky, so we've had to break it, place in another one, and now we've got this all connected up here. So at this point, if we grab a couple minecart hoppers, we're going to go ahead and grab you, we're going to pick block you, and we're going to place another one, and we're going to send these dudes out and about and on their way. They will now be in place to do collection for this. Now that we've got one of these in, we need to build 2 more of these going that way, because we are building this farm to be 3 chunks long. And once you get in your other 2 chunks, you should have something that looks pretty much like this. Actually, it should pretty much look exactly like this, except for you might be using different building blocks. Now that we've got our collection system in place, we can go ahead and move on to the next level of this build, which the next level is relatively simple. It's grab sand and it's fill this whole thing in. And once we've filled in all the blocks above all of this, we need to put a row of blocks all the way around the edge of this as well. Those will be used to build on in a bit, and they will also provide us a place where we can place all of our walls that are going to be needed later on. So you got this, fill this in with sand. And at this point, we now have a collection system in place, and we have a base to place down all of our sugarcane once we add in all of our water sources, which is what we are going to move on to next. Now, there's multiple ways that we can go about doing this, and I think that I'm going to show you the easiest way first, which is this right here. Our friend Mad Hatter here has made quite an adventurous pack here lately to include a lot of different things in it. And this right here is the placement of where we would place all of our water sources with inside this sand here. So as you can see, if we take a look right here, this is where a water source is going to start. Every blue spot is going to be a water source. Every other green spot is going to be our sand. So if we simply grab an armor stand and we come in here from the corner chunk right here and go over 8 blocks, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We place down this armor stand, put the sugar cane in its hand, and look, we've got our optimal placement for where all of our water is going to go. So at this point, if you do not have the means to use this pack for overlays, you can come out here at the very back corner and start back here and place in a stair right there. Now, of course, you would go ahead and waterlog this, and then you would go out to 4 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Guess what? We're going to put a stair in there, and then we're going to do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to come over here. We're going to place a stair in there. And of course, we're going to waterlog all these as we go through this process. So as we continue to approach the end here, it's pretty much the same pattern over and over again. Every 5th block, you're going to place a stair and you're going to waterlog it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We place that down, we waterlog that, and we continue that all the way to the end. Now, once we've reached the end, we come back here to the beginning and we simply start beside this one and we go out 2. We place in our first stair like so. We waterlog that, and then guess what? It's a pattern of 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, until you get something that's going to potentially look like this with all of your sand and water slots in. Now that you have all of your stairs in place in water, it's time to fill everything in with sugarcane. Now, because of the way the water pattern works, there's going to be a few spots in this farm because this is only 1 chunk wide where you're not going to be able to place sugarcane. So at that point, you might as well just throw bamboo in there just to get something extra out of this. I mean, bamboo and sugarcane. So let's fill everything in now, shall we? Now that we have all of our sugarcane and bamboo in place, it's time to start working on our flying machines. So first things first is we're going to grab some non-movable blocks here. We're going to be using flower azalea leaves. You can use whatever you want. You can use leaves of whatever variety you want. You can make it all out of obsidian. That's all up to you. But we're going to run a row of leaves all the way across here, and then we are going to fill in this back here behind this. We're going to go back 1, 2, 3, and 4 blocks. We're going to run this all the way across here. This is going to make this unspawnable and give us a place to work from. Now, once we've got all of this filled in right here, we're going to go ahead and come back here and take up this back wall 2 additional blocks. This is kind of going to work as a catch tray for any excess that the farm produces and or misses. So now that we have our leaf catch tray in place there, we're going to go ahead and start right here, and we're going to place in 8 slime blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we're going to place in 8 honey blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to go ahead and go back an additional one, skip that one in the middle. We're going to fill all of this in here, and then we're going to do the same thing with honey and slime. Now, at this point, let's go ahead and grab some obsidian and place this in here. And we need to do the same thing on the other side, minus the honey and the slime. So we're going to come over here to this side here. We're going to go ahead and put in a row of non-movable blocks here. And we're going to go back 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to square off all of this. And we're going to go ahead and fill all of this in. And we're going to take this back wall up an additional 2 blocks. Now, starting at our chunk line, and not our border line over here, we need to go over 8 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we're going to go back from there, and we're going to place in an obsidian there and there. That is now in the center of the chunk. Should something go wrong and you launch your flying machine early, you have a way of stopping it. Now that we've got that part in, let's work on the flying machine itself. Now at this point, we're ready to build the engine of our flying machine. First things first, I recommend you grab some obsidian and place it in front of this honey and slime to prevent your flying machine from malfunctioning early, because learning flying machines can be a bit finicky and we want to make sure everything's in place before we launch our flying machine. That being said, once you have your obsidian in there, we're going to start off with some sticky pistons. We're going to go 2 blocks in, 1, 2, in the third block here, we're going to place a sticky piston like so. Followed up by a regular piston. We're going to swing around to the other side. We're going to put in a regular piston and a sticky piston like so. Now, once we've got that, we're going to do the same thing on the slime. These are identical, just between honey and slime. So over 2 blocks, sticky piston, regular piston, swing around. Let's go ahead and get in our regular piston and our sticky piston. From here, we're going to go ahead and put in the top of our machine minus the observer. So we're going to go up 2 blocks like so. We're going to go over 2 blocks like so, and just like that till we get this nice little L shape right here. From here, we're going to go out an additional 2 blocks, turn that L into an inverse T, and we're going to place in a sticky piston right there. From here, we're going to put in a redstone block to let that grab that, and it's primed and ready to go. From here, let's grab some slime and go out 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2. I think you're starting to see a little bit of a pattern to this. And then from here, we're going to grab a sticky piston. We're going to put it up right there, and we're going to grab a lever, and we're going to extend that and grab that. From this point, your flying machine is pretty much ready to go, minus the observers. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down here, and behind this sticky piston here, we're going to put an observer looking up into that slime block right there. We're going to swing around here to the front side, and where we have a slime block right here at the front, we're going to put an observer right there. And the pattern itself is going to continue on to the other side of the flying machine. We're going to put in an observer there. And of course, right back here in the back, this last slime block before the redstone block, we are going to put in a observer looking up that way. So at this point, your flying machine is good and ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and break off our obsidian here, and we are going to flip the lever, let the flying machine go, and then make sure to flip the lever back. Now, I do want to mention that this flying machine is quite unique. It was designed by the Mad Hatter, and if you want to check out any in-depth tutorials that he has on game mechanics and or flying machines, you should definitely check out his channel. Now, once your flying machine has reached the other side over here, we need to make the return circuit as well. So we're going to go ahead and put down some obsidian here to prevent our flying machine from taking off earlier than we want. And now that that is done, we can go ahead and grab our slime and build pretty much the same circuit we built a while ago. So 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and then we go ahead and turn this into our T, 1, 2. So looking at it from up above, we've got a total of 5 that way, 3 this way. From here, let's go ahead and grab in our sticky piston, place that right there, and we're going to go ahead and put a redstone block on the back side here that powers that to grab that. From here, let's go ahead and grab our slime block there, there, and there, right there, and there. We get our nice little L shape, and from here, let's grab our sticky piston and place that back right there. Once again, we have our lever here. We extend this thing out, and this thing is ready to go. So now if we break our safety blocks there, and we flip this lever, our flying machine will now take off and head the other way. Once it's cleared the docking station, we can flip that back off so it's ready in catch mode once again. And that pretty much is that. From here, we want to go ahead and fill in all of our walls around here so that we have catch trays to catch all of our sugarcane so that it does not get bounced out all over the place. Now at this point, we have everything pretty much in place. One thing to note though is that if you're doing just sugarcane alone, you're going to need to add in some light. Sugarcane does need a light in order to grow. So we're just going to put a row of lights all the way down the edge. We're going to come in 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks here. We're going to put a strip down the ceiling as well. You can light it up however you want. This is just my preference on how I would like to light things up and what I would do with this farm. But at this point, it is working. And that is more or less that. Now, of course, I've added in a couple additional things here to show you that you could do to this farm as well. If we come around here to this side, I have taken all of the chests and added in some hoppers and brought everything here to a centralized location. You could do this as well. You could change up your collection system however you wanted. And additionally, I've added in, if we come over here and take a look, we no longer have a lever on this sticky piston. We have a redstone torch that is hard powering into that, which leads to a repeater which goes into a comparator decay clock. Now, even though I'm using fancy words, the basics of this thing is, T-Man, can you hit the button over there for me, please, so that I can show this in action? Once the thing is launched off, it will continue to keep that unpowered long enough that it holds the flying slime launcher part in place so that it does not break the flying machine. So it's that simple. And the beauty of this is we've wired this to go both ways. There is one on each side of this farm here. Now, just remember, if you do something like this, to place immovable blocks beside the flying machine, because it's going to completely butt up against that. And if we come up here and take a look from an aerial view, can you smash the button one more time for me, please? And hey, y'all, don't forget to smash the like button if you've enjoyed today's tutorial. But yes, I think that right there is going to cover it. It's short, it's simple, it's to the point, and it's unique. Now, I'm curious of what you all think the good and the bad is to this type of farm here. Me and T-Man were just discussing that just a minute ago, and the only negative thing that I can think of per se is that if you unload the flying machine while it is running, it has the potential to break. Other than that, I really can't see a problem with it. But if you all think you all see a good point or a bad point to this, why don't you let us know down in the comments down below? And if you have an ideal for a farm of the week or some crazy farm that you would like to see us attempt to build, let us know that down in the comment. We welcome the challenge. But I think that right there is where we're going to call this one an episode, a tutorial. It's different, it's unique, and I'm enjoying it so far, and I hope you all too are enjoying it. But that being said, that's where we're going to call this one a tutorial. And if you've enjoyed it, make sure to drop a like down below. If you'd like to see more, please consider subscribing. And if you would like to give us some suggestions on what you would like to see, make sure to leave those down in the comment. But as I said, that's where we're calling it, and I'll catch all of you all in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.